Better. So welcome to Better Yourself with your boy Frank Rice, and today I got a special guest for you. So I have Carlos. Is a personal trainer. He's a professional personal trainer, just to make it correct, right? He's also a director, I believe, in Jet Fitness as well. So today we're gonna talk about fitness. We're gonna talk about coach, a personal training, and then everything that have to be going on in fitness industry because we know that there's a lot of things that have changed. If the past few years, and then when you see the social media as well. And Carlos is somebody actually who've been in the fitness industry for many years and he's very professional. He have a lot of people that he actually train. He trained many athletes as well. So we're just gonna know more about him and we're just gonna just talk about things in general. So before we start, as I always do to all my guests, Carlos, I want you to introduce yourself because there's no better way for somebody to actually talk about themselves than who they are. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, sure. Obviously, my name is Carlos. I've been in the industry for nearly over 20 years now.
yeah. 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years, 20 years. Yeah, yeah. I've been training people for 20 years. As you just said quite rightly, the industry has changed a lot. So obviously, when you are in the game for 20 years, there's a
Yeah,
lot of sort of patterns you see. There's a lot of things you kind of realize that have changed. And obviously, don't take me wrong. I mean, I still love it.
yeah,
I still go to work every single day with a passion to obviously help others become better versions. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but yeah, I do. Obviously, um, when I started, like many guys that when they start in the fitness industry, they probably come from a background of sports. With me, was that I used to be a footballer.
yeah,
I came from Portugal. I was at Benfica Academy. Came over to England to play for a few clubs.
yeah.
It didn't work out in a sense where I got injured quite early in my career. So I
Oh,
got
really?
injured when I was literally 19 years of age. I had a bit of a knee problems, and then I had a couple operations. They didn't go too well, but I was still able to play. Then I went down, sort of like down the route of non-league. I got injured again, and then obviously because I was very passionate about training, and I've
Yeah,
always had that kind of background of coaching. I've always had, even when I was a young boy, I
yeah,
always liked the coaching side of things. So kind of becoming a coach or becoming a trainer was almost like as if I'd done it before. You know, it's quite strange really because I've never done it before, but it's almost as if I had done it before. So
yeah,
I kind of like suited me very well. Obviously, when I became injured, I went to university, done a sports science degree. Then obviously I also done my Premier training course as well. And then from then, and this is what it really opens a massive book is I began to study in self-study. Obviously, that's one of the things I find in nowadays, a lot of people sort of underestimate the power
yeah, yeah.
of self-studying coaching, really. So what I learned, I began to become obsessed about reading. So I can tell you now, from the age of say 19 to now, I've read over 1,500 books in the area of physical development, personal
Yeah.
training, psychology, self-help, self-development. So I've got a lot of knowledge about, not just about training, because, and this is one of the things that people that get into the industry, and I'm sure we'll cover that a bit
Yeah.
later. I think people think it's just about, oh, okay, I
If
go
you
to
know
the
how to
gym,
live there.
I know to lift a little bit, all of a sudden I can become a personal trainer. And don't take me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from anybody that thinks that. But what I'm trying to say, there's way, 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 way more than that. So, and to answer your question, literally, I then obviously finished my qualifications, became a trainer. At the age of literally 20, I was very, very young. Um, and basically, I became a trainer, self-employed trainer. And I tell you, at that time, there wasn't many trainers around at all. Personal training was very new. In America, was something that was seen as only the stars had personal trainers. But
Yeah.
in Birmingham, there wasn't many trainers at all. There was a couple. I actually remember a very famous gym, which is Living Well, which is no longer obviously exists. Had a couple of personal trainers, but was very, very rare. They were busy. And I remember when I applied for the job to go there, people were like, very like, oh, a trainer. It was very much of a new thing. And
Yeah.
then as the years gone by, obviously more and more and more, it just built up, built up. But in the beginning, it was very hard. But what I found was I wanted to be an expert in what I did. I think it's quite sad that we actually sometimes feel that way because I think we all at the journey, we all doing something to better ourselves. And a lot of the times, this is one thing that many trainers probably learn maybe halfway through their journey, if they are successful at running through that journey, is they start understanding that most people that come to the gym, they actually don't come to the gym because they want to look like a fitness model.
Yeah.
They come to the gym because they want to feel better. They want maybe to lose a bit of weight,
Yeah.
but a lot of the time they just want to feel a little bit better. And that's one of the things I personally focused on from the very first beginning, is understanding psychology. And this is why I then went back to university and began to learn psychology, because I thought there's way more that I need to learn for me to become an expert. Because you don't become an expert by calling yourself an expert. I think you become an expert by doing over 10,000 hours at your craft. And I know it sounds a bit cliche, because I'm sure you've heard that,
Yeah.
but it's very, very true. You need to do the hours, and you need to do the expertise with people. And that's one thing I think in the industry now. I mean, I know you know that, there's so many trainers, there's so many people.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. But as you say, like when people go to the gym, they have to, that's the problem as well. People have to, you have to know why you're coming to the gym, and you can't have a client, but everybody don't have the same goal. Because I know a lot of people, when they go to the gym, they get scared because maybe their goal is just to go there to run and then to lose a little bit of weight, just to feel good in the mind. But people always trying to make it look like everybody want to lift weight, to be big, and to feel like you are training well. And you need to have like those big muscle. That's why a lot of people get scared actually to come to the gym.
Absolutely.
I've noticed that.
Absolutely. And that, to be honest with you, I think that's something that it's changed a little bit over the years. I think back in the day, I would say when I first started training.
Your phone is upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to, when I started, sorry, I do apologize for that.
Yeah, it's fine.
When I first started training people back in the day, most people just wanted to become beefed up. And I train a lot of people in different sort of gyms. And most gyms at that time, most people just wanted to be really big, because the bodybuilder sort of look was at that time, and still is to a degree, but was at that time the look. Now people kind of, there's a lot of like functional training now, and there's a lot of kinesthetics training. There's a lot of different things that kind of like, there's a lot of that very much of aesthetic look. So at that time, people just wanted to be big. And all of a sudden, anyone that done anything else different was kind of like, oh, what are they doing? But now, because there's so many different things, I think a lot of people think that whatever they're doing is the best thing ever. So as a trainer, how do I change that? And how do I see that? I see that from my point of view, this is my opinion, having training people for 20 years, is I think we all are in one journey, as I was saying earlier. Yeah. And I think we all have to learn with each other. And I'll give you an example. How I learned this was, because back in the day, I obviously, coming from a football point of view, my training was very much aerobic. And obviously, I'd done a lot of weight training in terms of leg work, but I didn't do much upper body. So when I went and became a trainer, I began to do a lot of upper body work. And obviously, I'm sure you probably know, obviously, I've competed and everything else. I got to a really good level of muscularity. But then what I found that for me to become a bodybuilder, I needed to take the next step. And obviously, I don't want to go too much about it today, about talking about obviously steroids and everything else. So if I wanted to do that, I would have to really take that journey. And I didn't want to do it. I thought, you know what, the key to become fitter, healthier, stronger version of you is to become an healthier version of you. Personally, this is my personal opinion of it. I'm not going on anybody that does that. But for me, I thought, if I'm going to do that, I want to be healthy, and I want to be also an example to others as well. So I tried to be at the best I could be in terms of muscularity, in terms of health, and in terms of obviously what I wanted to compete. So when I competed in fitness modeling and muscle modeling and everything else, I believe I was in great shape for someone that's quite natural. When I say quite natural, I mean natural. But then I found was, if I wanted to carry on doing that and wanted to take the next step, then I would have to take a next step as well. And I didn't want to do that. So I was quite happy to kind of like take a step back and say, you know what, I've done that. I've competed several times, and I was happy. And I know I can do that to others and help others achieve that. But I think sometimes with the guys that...
But do you think that you didn't want to go far because, just to be honest, because in the industry, I know, what happened when people start being on stage and everything, because people start taking certain supplement, like such a thing as steroid as well, to get to the next level. I think that's the reason why you feel like you have to come back, or that's the reason why you stopped.
Not so,
or just because you feel like you already achieved what you wanted to achieve, now you wanted to pass
to a degree, because I
to other people.
I think the people that compete will know this. People that don't compete that will never know because they never walk the road. Is when you compete, honestly, it's a journey that you go through, not just physically, because training, honestly, training is the easiest thing.
Yeah.
But the actual dieting, the preparation, especially in the last, say, 5 weeks, it's probably one of the hardest things anyone will ever do. And honestly, anyone that competes will tell you this. And what it is, you actually, obviously, now I know this, and obviously throughout the journey, you learn this. It changes your neuroplasticity in your brain. So what do I mean by that? I don't just want to like chuck words out there for no reason. It just changes your brain hormonal pattern. So because we are, at the end of the day, remember, we are animals. We're not here to look amazing. We're here to survive. So your brain's telling you, listen, you were here because I want to keep your organs alive.
Yeah.
But we eating food in order to look a particular way. Our bodies don't want to do that. So when you compete, you'll know this. The guys that compete know this. We change the pattern, behavior change. Your mood changes. That's why people get really bad mood swings and stuff like that. And I think that when you become a trainer, you're trying to compete and you're trying to do all these sort of things. And say, for the guys, the trainers that are really busy, like say, we can work sometimes 12, 14 hours a day. Now you trying to compete and do it 14 hours a day. I tell you what, it's I can't say it's impossible, but it's a very hard task. And I found that really hard to do. So I thought it's you either take one journey where we compete and you do several clients, or you do a lot of clients and you become a professional personal trainer, and that's what you do for a living, and you compete maybe once every 3 or 4 years. And that's what I decided to do. But I don't think competing is everything. I think a lot of people think if you don't compete, you can't be a trainer, or you shouldn't be a trainer.
But do you think it's harder to compete when you're natural, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, 100%. I mean, to be honest with you, when I compete, obviously several times, and I know how hard it was. But it's very hard, obviously, because your body only grows a certain amount. I mean, don't take me wrong. I've seen some genetic freak people that obviously can grow a lot and can have a level of muscularity and definition genetically without any sort of gear or any sort of like stimulation. When I say stimulation, I mean stimulants, basically your stimulants.
Yeah.
I have seen those kind of people, but obviously that's probably 1 in a million. But obviously, if you want to compete against people that obviously are taking substances, it's going to be very hard. But we all know. I mean, the guys that are in the industry know. I mean, I can just have to look. I've seen so many bodies, and obviously anyone like me that have been in the game for this day, I can just look at someone. I can even tell you more or less what they're taking, because obviously, you can tell a mile away, because you can just tell the vascularity. Not just the vascularity, you can actually tell the quality of muscle. Do you know what I mean? There's no way in a million years someone can just have 4% body fat, you know what I mean? Loads of muscle by just eating chicken breasts. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, the problem here is, I think everyone who come to PTs, right? People come to the personal trainer, they say, look, I want to lose weight or I want to gain muscle. Yeah. And then people have those pictures in the mind of people are big muscle and everything. So why we don't have this kind of honest conversation as well with people? Because the thing is, there's a lot of lie in the fitness industry as well. That's the reason why a lot of people are confused, and it needs putting certain personal trainer in a bad position as well, because sometimes people are asking for this kind of result, and like there's only so much the person can achieve with the
absolutely. I mean,
everything.
At the end of the day, I mean, you've asked a really good question there, but that really good question can be divided by 3 or 4 answers, and I'll give you an example. I'll start with the first one. When someone comes to me, obviously I haven't done these once. I haven't done these 10 times. I haven't done these 100 times. I've done these 1,000 times, right? So I always give the person the same answer, in a sense where I divide different programs from different people, different sort of diets. It depends on your body type. Depends if you're an ectomorph, mesomorph, endomorph. Depends on your lifestyle. Depends on your daily expenditure, calorie expenditure. But what I do always say to people is, how bad do you want to get this done? Because I give you an example. We can all sit down here, because I do coaching. Obviously, I spend a lot of time coaching people. And when I say coaching, I don't just say, because I'm a qualified psychologist, so I talk about a lot to do with psychology. Is how bad do you really want to get there? Because I can sit down here with you and say, listen, I want to become a really successful guy.
Yeah.
Whether I'm going to do anything about it is a whole different thing, because I'm sure we all want things, but whether we're going to do what it takes to do it, it's another whole different world. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how does that transfer to the question you're asking me is a lot of times what people think is they'll think, right, okay, the idea, okay, let me get a personal trainer. And I'm not protecting personal trainers here, by the way, because there's some really good personal trainers, really, really good ones. There's some really mediocre ones, and there's some really, really bad ones. Of course, in every industry, there's good, bad, and okay. When they come to me, in particular, I can answer for myself. I'm very honest with them. I always say what they've got to do. I
Yeah.
always say what they have to do. Okay, what they've got to do, what they have to do while they are with me. Okay. And what they have to do when they are by themselves. Okay, now that's the division. And what I do is I'll set them a goal, and I'm sure you've heard these millions of people.
Let's talk about personal trainers then. So do you
Yeah,
actually, do you have your own personal trainers as well? Are you actually coach personal trainer? That's what I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
say.
yeah. I do. Yeah. I do.
Okay.
But I'm giving you an example. This then goal
Okay.
goes to personal trainers as well.
Yeah.
It is they sometimes will say to people, they'll say, right, okay, you can get a six pack in whatever time. I think that's the worst thing you can say to anybody, because at the end of the day, you don't know. I mean, I can say to you, you're going to become a billionaire. Okay. I
Yeah.
can be a fortune teller. I say, you're going to become a billionaire. And now, whether you're going to become a billionaire, I don't know. I can just tell you.
Sure.
Okay. But you should never say to someone, you're going to have a six pack or you're going to have whatever. I think what you need to do, you need to divide the group, the goals into small little chunks, right? And then evaluate the person on that little success. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just say I want to run a marathon, right? So I'll evaluate you as, let's say, you my client. Let's just set little small goals every week, and let's see you achieving them, right? And I'll devise you the program to do it, the diet to do it, and depending on your success, I coach you against it. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, definitely. It's more realistic.
Of course, but what we do as trainers, and obviously, it's very hard for me to answer all the trainers because, as I said, there's some really good trainers out there. I've seen some really good, talented trainers, and I've seen some really bad ones as well, and I've seen some okay ones as well. But what I think a lot of people brush every trainer to do, he's just a liar. He's just a liar. They just pretend. No, a lot of the times, and that's just not me defending trainers. A lot of the times, people expect everything for nothing. I mean, I'll give you an example. I know people that they'll go on internet, right? Type in a juice diet, and they're going to think they're going to end up with Arnold Schwarzenegger body by taking a juice diet. I mean, it may sound crazy to think that. It might sound crazy for even to comprehend someone who think they're going to become whatever by taking a juice diet. They ain't going to become anything. So they might lose a couple of pounds and they might feel better, but that's just not the answer. But by the way, I'm just answering this very quickly, obviously, because I don't want to bore you. There's a lot more detail. There's a lot more detail that goes into coaching people. And I think one of the biggest things about it is understanding human psychology, is understanding how people basically behave based on the goals. Some people need visual goals. Some people need kinesthetic goals. Some people need auditory digital goals. And this is one of the things I study highly in psychology. It's how you get best out of a human being based on their psychology, because we all very different. You know what I'm saying? We all very, very, very different. And he's understanding the human more than the physical part, because I believe training people for 20 years, the training is not the hardest thing, because anyone can do training. But is to do the right training at the right time with the right people consistent enough, because anyone can do training.
Yeah, but because the thing is, people have different type of body as well, and then the training that you do, it doesn't mean it's always gonna work with the same person. The problem that we have sometimes in the gym, you train with people, like a group of people, guys, just training, but you're gonna see people are getting the different type of result.
Yeah.
Some people they getting the result quick, the other they actually kind of struggle, and then some people they feel like they are doing something wrong because we all doing the same thing, but that person is growing a lot. That's why I always say to people, I think we have to acknowledge the body type as well, even when you're a personal trainer.
Well, this is one thing that's is a very, very, very good topic. Like, I'll give you an example. Say, like, if you're talking about personal trainers in a sense, like, I'll give you an example. A lot of trainers, and this is one thing, because I've been in the game for so long, I've seen so many things, but part of my job back in the day, I used to work for a very big company called Virgin Active. And my main job as a fitness manager was to coach personal trainers to become trainers, to become successful trainers.
Yeah.
And don't take me wrong, I had a fantastic team, by the way. There was some really amazing individuals, of which still are my very good friends. But the system, the way the company took the system, they were employing they were sacking personal trainers left, right, and center. So my job became almost like a recruitment consultant of
Personal trainers.
personal trainers. That was our job. So you can imagine, I would probably interview 20 to 30 people a week, and out of those, every week, by the way. So we've done a lot of interviews and we've come across a lot of people. And one of the things the common denominator of a lot of trainers was that let's just say, what type of training are you into? As an example, you'd say to me, "Oh, I'm into doing a lot of powerlifting." Guess what that guy was doing with, let's say, Rose, that is 82 years of age, just wants to move. Guess what he was doing? Powerlifting. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but that's what the guys were doing. So what they've done is, because what they do, they believe that whatever they do themselves, it's going to match everyone. So everyone has to become a powerlifter, and that's not a trainer. That's very much of I'd call a jukebox.
I think that's when the knowledge actually come in, because
absolutely,
like now, what I realize even now, we are this Corona time, like everybody's staying at home. You have a lot of people. I know a lot of people, they don't even train anymore. They cannot even do anything, because we are stuck to one type of training, gym and, body lifting training. And now we cannot find a transition to try and adapt ourselves to another type of.
I think people can. I think you are right saying the knowledge is very, very, very important. I tell you one thing, which is I don't take me wrong. It takes sometimes a lot of sort of thinking about it. What is the goal? What is the goal as a baby? If you think about a baby, what's the goal as a baby? Is to become, the baby is very mobile, but it's to have balance, so if you look at a baby, like from 9 to say 12 months, they begin to walk, right? And the main thing is about balance. So he's mobile enough, but he's balanced, right? Then is strength, then is agility, then it's performance, right?
Yeah.
But as you get older, is the reverse. It's backwards, isn't it? You become really, really fit, and then all of a sudden you start getting weaker, overweight, on weaker bodies. So if you reverse engineer that, I think one of the biggest things as a human being is, think about it. When you're 50 years of age, 60 years of age, are you going to be able to bend down and do your laces? Are you going to be able to bend down and not have to hold your knees? Are you going to be able to sit down and not having to hold your knees to come back up? Because I train people that, I'll give you an example. I train a lot of sort of elder people.
Yeah, I see you training a lot of other people.
And you learn a lot about even the psychology as people get older. Because if you tell someone that is 70 years of age to sit down, you might think nothing of it. But I tell you what, they'll think a lot of it because they can't come back up.
Yeah, so, it's true, because I'm not gonna cut you, because last time I see you training, you was training few people, like old people. They was like going very slow. And I had a session with my mom last time, and I was actually, it's crazy because I was gonna train in the gym. I said to her, "Look, the only thing we're gonna do today, I'm just gonna show you how to sit without actually putting your hand down on the chair. That's the only thing. That's just basic. Is like sitting down." She's like, she was gonna laugh. I'm like, "Just do it." And then she was like, she's trying to sit down. I'm like, "Okay, get up now." And she couldn't get up. Yeah. And then in her mind, she was like, "Wow, this is crazy." And that's how we was doing. And then she started putting her hand first, and after that, she kept getting stronger.
But I'm just going to give you an example. Like, let's say you were a trainer. Let's just say you were in the gym and you're a trainer. The guy over there that might be like doing 3 plates on deadlift, he'll be looking at you thinking, "What the hell is that guy doing with that?" Now, what he doesn't understand the psychology is, you say your mom, that could be your client.
Yeah.
All she wants to do is to be able to sit down and come back up.
Yeah.
Nothing else. She doesn't want to be doing deadlifts on 3 plates. That don't mean anything to her. Now, let me just finish what I was just saying, because I was actually trying to finish something. What a lot of people don't understand is, and to reverse engineer what I was telling you, so a baby begins to be mobile and then fitter and stronger and begins to run and whatever else, it might become an athlete, it might not become an athlete, but then he goes into a job or whatever he does. And normally people, obviously, some way or another, because of life situations,
Yeah.
they tend to put weight on. So when they begin to put weight on weaker muscles, the frame becomes weaker. So what do we then do?
True.
Okay, we send them to the gym a lot of the times and start putting weight on them. So what happens if you start putting weight on something that's weak? You
Break it.
Okay, but what do we say? We tend to say to people, oh, you're getting stronger. Now, you'll probably find now, and you speak to anyone that trains, ask people that, say, for instance, do, say, 5 plates on deadlifts, 5 plates on squats, I don't know, 5 plates on bench press. I've done all that. Do you know what? My knees were killing me. My back was killing me. My elbows were killing me. My shoulders were killing me. What's that for? Because at the end of the day, think about it, right? What the focus is to make your skeleton stronger, your tendons stronger, your muscles stronger, your connective tissue stronger for you, not for the weight, because you're not lifting that weight unless you're if you're an athlete.
That's actually true.
That's
Because,
the difference.
but the thing is, we think when we do that, our skeleton's actually gonna get stronger. That's what we believe. But because in the people's mind is like, okay, if I'm going heavy, certain level,
a certain level, yes, that's correct, because it creates osteoblasts, which then creates osteoclasts in your bone. But let's just say if I can bench press, as an example, say 3 plates on a 1 rep max, right? If I keep doing that, my muscles may get stronger, but one day something will snap. Now, is that my shoulder snapping worth enough for me to become stronger? No, because I'm gonna become weaker because I'm not gonna be able to train for, say, 3 or 4 months. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, the way I've worked this out, and this is don't take me wrong, this sometimes I think a lot of trainers, because I talk to a lot of trainers on this. I think it takes a long time for you to actually understand sometimes, why am I doing this for? Because the key is, if you say to yourself, I want to become fitter, stronger, healthier. So if you are going to squat 5 plates, are you actually become healthier? You just snapped.
But that's the thing. I think now fitness before used to be about, fitness is about staying fit and healthy. That was the real meaning. But now I think people are more focused on
ego,
on the ego. Lifting in the gym, and after the out, it actually people want to look good. Like they look big, like big. Look good is a bit too much, but like look big and strong and everything. And people want to get to the end point. Like they're gonna use whatever they want to use to get to that point.
100%.
But normally you have to use for people who want to stick to the healthy way, you have to use the healthy journey. But sometimes it's long, but people prefer to just get whatever they want to get, but they're gonna use like the way that they actually prefer. And that's how I feel.
100%. But obviously, look, I've got a lot of very good friends that compete. Fantastic, of course. When I say fantastic, I mean great effort. The guys do amazing jobs, and that's what they want to do. Fair play, and I coach people like that. I always say to them, now, I know guys that do powerlifting, they're really strong guys, they compete, fantastic, do it, go out there and do it, because that's what you like to do. Now, how does that link into personal training is most guys that go to the gym a lot of times, they don't understand what a lot of personal trainers are doing with clients, and it goes back to what you were asking me, is when you're training your mom, all you wanted her is to sit down. And you might have the guy over there looking at you thinking, what the hell is he doing with her?
Yeah, so that's the thing.
We don't know. I give you an example. Like I've had clients, just an example. I've had clients of mine that dealing with depression. I'm not going to name any names, of course.
Yeah.
That dealing with depression, anxiety, right? The goal for this person is just to be able to be around 10 people because they get panic attacks. So you might see me with him or with her and you think, oh, what's that guy doing? Because that person is so anxious that the goal is just to be able to come into an environment where they are, because a gym, I mean, I've done it for over 20 years.
It's kind of scary, yeah.
It's not scary for me anymore.
Yeah.
But for someone that's never done it before, it's quite daunting, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, I'll give you an example. I about 2 years ago, I began to play the guitar. And I went to this place, obviously I'm not going to name it. I didn't have a clue how to play the guitar. I went to this place, and when I got there, I was late. So when I got there was everyone there with a guitar trying to play. I got a bit intimidated because I was thinking, obviously, a room bunch of people that could play the guitar, and me there, I couldn't even know what the bloody hell. So I got a bit intimidated. So imagine that as a beginner coming into a gym where if I'm conscious about the way I look, if I'm conscious about my physical appearance, even my mental state can be such a big thing. But I think this is why I always say personal training, coaching, it's almost like an onion. It's got so much layers to it. But
Yeah, but
we
I think it's just the knowledge. People don't get enough information. I think we are
no,
more
no.
focused on you get a certification, you know how to train, and you know a couple of people
There
you
you
just
go.
go to the gym and that's it, make money.
And it's really sad. It's really sad it's that way, because I think if you think that way, you ain't going to go very far anyway, because there's only so much you can obviously BS. But if you do it in a proper way, it's one of the most rewarding career I can think of. I wouldn't change it for the world. I love helping people. I love, in fact, I tell you what I love. When I say help, obviously helping people, but I love
The end result, like being able to change
yeah,
people.
and I'm sure, obviously, I don't know if you've seen, but if you look at all my transformations, I've done so many people. And just to see that person in the beginning, when it came to me, i.e., someone comes to me and say, Carlos, I can't even get him dressed in front of my other half, or I can't get him dressed, or I can't even get dressed in the morning because I feel embarrassed putting my clothes on, they're too tight. And then all of a sudden they come up to me and say, listen, I feel amazing. I can go to that party. You know, that to me, you know what I mean? That to me means everything. Do you
But
know
what
what I mean?
about when you come to the client? Because you can have different type of client. There's a client that actually they want you to train them, but the thing they actually sneaky. They actually want to train with you, but like for a very short time.
Yeah.
As long as they get information and just move on and do their
Do
own
you know
thing.
what?
And it's
Do you know
sometimes
what?
when things are longer, they feel like you're trying to get something out of them or something like that.
I've never come up. I can see what I can understand your question, but I haven't
Because
had
some people they
many of
believe
those
like
people.
personal trainer, what they do, they actually they slow down the process. So the person, because if the person get a result quick, and the person might just run away. Same people, that's why they think.
Do you know what, mate? They can run away whatever the time. I never. Do you know what? I give you an example. Like, I know there's some personal trainers on the line, so I'm sure they'll back me up on this one. I can tell you one thing. Like, I've got so many clients of mine. I say, can I train with you every day? And I said, no, you don't need to train with me every day. You can do 2-3 times a week. Whenever. I never tell people you've got to. My clients will tell you, if you ask my clients, I never tell people you've got to train X amount of times with me. I might say you need to train, say 5 times a week, but I'm not saying you have to train 5 times a week with me. No, I think where you're coming from is, and this is obviously, this is probably going to sound a bit cliche. It's like there's levels, okay? Like in football, there's Premier League and there's like the non-league and say the Sunday league. There is levels, and I don't want to disrespect anyone. There is levels. Do you know what I mean? Like, and clients know what the levels they working with, because there's a lot of trainers out there. You can tell, you know, they'll try to sell themselves. They'll try to say, listen, you've got to train with me 24/7. And the clients go, whoa, hold on a minute. All I want is one lesson. I always say to the clients, you know, if your goal is, i.e., say, for instance, I don't know, lose 4 stone or gain 2 stone in muscle or whatever it is, you've got to divide that to the person. It's called quadrants. That's one thing I do with my clients, to sit down with them and we set up a micro, macro, and meso development, which is like, if you like, in very simple terms, it's like 3, 6 to 12 months. Now, don't take me wrong, and these may sound very like, sort of like, oh, very professional, and it is very professional, but still, there's some people that do amazing, and they get results. There's others that don't do it. Do you know what I mean? I've had amazing stories. I've had people that have lost, I'm sure you've seen, 6 stone, 7 stone, 8 stone, 9 stone, changed a guy that was skinny, they're muscly now, or confidence-wise, everything. I mean, I've got people that have overcome cancer, become a lot better, a lot more healthier, everything. I've got loads of different examples.
But when you come to the knowledge in terms of like the training, because I know there's a lot of different type of training. I'm sure there's a few personal trainer actually here. There's only so much we actually can do and we actually can learn. So what do you think is the best way to get all those information? Like, because you're going to have, as you say, you can't have old people, you can't have people want to lose weight, you can't have people want to build. So how are you going to get, because I've done the lesson when it comes to personal training, but they don't really teach you those things when you do
see what happens
a certain level. Yeah.
So I can link this answer to a lot. Like, I'll give you an example. If you're dealing with someone that just wants to get, say, for instance, let me answer this in a better way.
If you don't ask Google, of course, yeah.
Right. If you come to me, this is what I will say, right? if you come to me just to understand how to do a bench press, you do not need a personal trainer. By the way, everyone needs a personal trainer, by the way, because if you get a proper personal trainer, you all need one. If you got a really bad one, you don't need one, if that makes any sense, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you come to me just to understand how to do a bench press, you're not looking for a personal trainer. So if you just pay the personal trainer to teach you how to do a bench press, I think you're doing the wrong thing, because what you need is, you need to get someone that's qualified in that area, or someone that's got experience to teach you how to do it properly. However, believe it or not, what a lot of people think is they'll go, okay, let me just learn from a personal trainer for half an hour or an hour, and all of a sudden I can do what he's doing. You are completely wrong, because anyone that's been with me, they'll tell you. Now, a trainer is someone that's going to say, for instance, if you can do 100, I'll make you do 120. Okay. If you can do 120, I'll make you do 220. Now you might think, yeah, okay, go on, Carlos, keep going. Now, what I'm trying to say is, on the days that you haven't got oxytocin in your brain, say for instance, there's days you think, oh, no, I'm going to make you do it. Now, I'll find a way to make you do it around your personality. And this is where I've read over 1,500 books of an area of physical development. I told you in the beginning, didn't I? Those are where the self-education comes. Now, if any trainer that's anywhere thinks that they're going to go on a 6-week course or 12-week course or a year course or 3 years course, what I learned alone, it doesn't equate to years of training myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let me reword that. What I learn on my own, studying personal development, doesn't equate to the years I studied at university alone. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And now what I'm trying to say is the self-development that makes you a great trainer. And any trainer that is great, I'll give you an example. A very, very good friend of mine is a great trainer in London, right? I was talking to him, he's 44 years of age. And I would say he's an unbelievable trainer. Hence the reason why he's got an unbelievable following. But he still reads every night. I read every night. Anyone that's around me that knows me very well, I listen every single day, 4 hours of personal development. I don't just make things up. I've got facts. Now, when you see, say, for instance, I'm very busy with people, this is all this knowledge. So when people come to me, they've got proper information, clutch information they need. Don't take me wrong. I will never say I'm the best, because a lot of times, it's all look, nowadays it's all about, it's not who the best trainer is, it's who the most famous trainer is. I can tell you, look, I've got friends of mine that are celebrities. If I took a picture with a celebrity, all of a sudden, he's a great trainer because he took a picture with a celebrity.
Yeah.
That don't mean anything. What it means is I just know someone. And don't take me wrong, loads of trainers are doing that. They'll take a picture with a few celebrities. Next thing they know is, but they haven't got no clients, or they've got 3 or 4 clients, but never change anyone's physique. But they take a picture with celebrity, all of a sudden they're great trainers. And that's what I think that's where the industry's gone a little bit sort of faded. It's the industry exploded, but I think because I think the consumer does not know the difference between the actual trainer and the good trainer and the famous trainer. Does that make sense? So let's
there's
say
a lot of difference between
say if I had the 250,000 followers on my Instagram, I bet you all of a sudden people think, oh, he's a great trainer. And I could be the worst trainer ever, because I've got 250,000 people following me. I'm a good trainer. And I know people that have got that kind of following and they're not that good. They're just influential. They got the right information. They say the right things at the right time. And all of a sudden they are out there. And it's great. I'm not taking any, when I say this, I'm not taking anything away from them, because a lot of people out there are doing great things. I do think, because a lot of people hammer trainers. I've seen it's one of the industries. Every industry gets hammered anyway, but a lot of industries get hammered, and trainers are one of them. Like, oh yeah, that person does this, that person does that. I think there's great, amazing trainers out there. But I think a lot of the time, especially with this media now, and this is, I'll give you an example. I know people on Instagram that are selling personal training, say programs, but they're not trainers. Do you know what I'm saying? So
but that's the thing about the program as well, because sometimes people sell the program, but they haven't even made that program. Do you think you should try that program yourself before you try to sell it to somebody else?
I don't know what. Look, this can be a massive debate. This can be a massive debate, because I always say to this, right? if you're not, obviously you don't need to become a horse to become a horse jockey. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you don't become a horse jockey to become a horse, either way. But I think you need to have a level of understanding. I.e., let's say Alex Ferguson was never a great footballer, but he was coaching Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, does that mean that?
I know you love Ronaldo. I know that.
I'm just giving an example because a lot of people think, oh yeah, if you've never been a bodybuilder, you can't be a personal trainer. But I'm thinking, well, yeah, but you don't need to be a bodybuilder to become a personal trainer, and you don't need to become a personal trainer to become a bodybuilder either way. But I think a core knowledge is necessary, and I always back up to a degree bodybuilders, because I know a lot of bodybuilders get really upset about this. And I always back them up to a degree, because what I like about bodybuilding back in the day, I'll give you an example. When I got into the game a long time ago, and when I became a trainer, when I was literally 20, turning 20, all the bodybuilders are really humble. People are doing bodybuilding. People are humble. You go to any gym. Look, I can tell you, like back in the day, body sculpture, the guys that know what that is, in Soda Road, I used to go there, like Flex, for instance, great gym.
Yeah.
All those kind of gyms, like, people are real, like someone was doing something wrong, you'd go up to them and say, listen, do it this way. People listen. Do you know what I mean? Like one of my very good friends, Ricardo Bubbles, he'll tell you about this. People would listen. People would actually take it on. Do you know what I'm saying? Now you go and tell someone, okay, by the way, I'll go a little bit lower, go a little bit higher.
People feel like, who are you? Like, everybody feel like they know everything.
They know everything. And the problem is, they know everything, but they don't know anything. I see, if you said to me, Carlos, how much do you know? I always say to myself, I don't know much. I'm learning.
But coming to that question, because I'm sure some people, they want to have it clear. Coming to that question, you're a personal trainer. Because I know, like, sometimes you don't know how to write a program. You have to keep it real. Same personal trainer, they don't actually write program. They can actually buy a program for somebody else, and they want to sell it to people.
There's loads of that.
Do you think is it okay, like, for you to use the program that you haven't used, just because the way you see the program, like, this might work? Or do you think like a certain level you have to try it? But if it's not your goal, of course, there's no need to try, because you're not going to know if it's going to work. But do you think it's worth trying if you haven't made a program? If you make it yourself, maybe it's not worth trying.
My question is this. I always say this to everyone, right? I do a lot of online training.
Yeah.
Now, every program I devise for every single client is completely tailored. Okay. Now, I've had a lot of people approaching me and say, Carlos, you've been in the game for so long. Would you like to be associated with this brand? And we're going to do generic programs. I say no. I tell you why I say no. Because I'm not in this game to make money. And you might say, oh, bloody hell, you're a businessman. Yes, I am a businessman, but I'm in the game to inspire people. Okay. Now, with inspiring people, there's a fee, and I've got to get paid. Okay?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Now, I'm not here to say I'm going to rip you off. Now, what a lot of trainers do is they forget the first thing that got them into training. I'm into training because I want to inspire people. If I just wanted to make money, I'd be in another industry that'd make a lot quicker money faster. I'm in the game because I want to inspire people. Now, the minute I don't feel I want to inspire people, I'll stop doing training. I'll just say, listen, this is not for me anymore. But the problem, and this is the problem, you see a lot of guys out there, they think, you know what, I'll just put a genetic program, Monday to Friday, people are going to buy it, 10 quid, off you go. And don't take me wrong, I know who they are. I know who they are, and I know they're everywhere. And then obviously there's American people doing that. There's Canadian. They're all over the world.
Because what you have to understand, it is only because even through this time of Corona, I've learned a lot of things. There is only so much time you can give to people that you're training with as well. As yourself, like you are busy, and then certain people you can physically be, because it makes it different when you're physically with people, or you're actually even watching them online while you're training. You kind of push people to train as well.
Absolutely.
But for people you actually kind of see, and then you have to write a program.
I think
like online training, do you think that's the tricky side? Is like a program that you have to give people. How do you have to manage?
I tell you what I'll do. Obviously, I shouldn't be telling you this because obviously I'm sure there's guys on the line. I know they're taking some tips here. Yeah. But you know what? I like to share things.
That's why I don't like the live. You know, you get away.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind that. I tell you what I'll do.
Yeah, go ahead.
By the way, I like to share things. And what I do with my guys is online training. People say, oh, is the online training really work? Okay. No, okay. Now, if I've got clients, say in China, I've got clients in America, I've got clients in Italy, I've got clients in Portugal, I've got clients in France, I've got clients in a lot of places, right? I'm not gonna, if they like me as a trainer, I'm never going to impact them if they don't follow what I say.
Yes.
So I actually began to think about it. Online training, will this impact? No, you'll never be as good enough as a one-to-one session. Of course, it won't.
Definitely.
But it'll be the closest thing. It'll be the closest thing to someone next to you. So what I do with people is I devise a tailored program with video of each exercise. Now, wait for it, because this is the most important thing. Now, you might say, yeah, Carlos, but I can get that on internet. Of course you can. You can go on YouTube. It's all there.
Yeah.
I'm not teaching you anything different. But what I then is, I then coach you every day, depending on what package you take. I coach you on your accountability on what you do. And you might say, how do I do that? There's many ways of doing it. Okay, by video recording, by calorie deficit, by calorie expenditure, by outputs. And I get outputs every day. So if anyone's around me, they'll know. Obviously, my son always says, Daddy, your phone keeps going off. I got loads of people downloaded, basically, I didn't say the right thing there, sending me their download of their outputs every day. So I know, say for instance, if I've got A, B, C, D, and E doing that program today, I know they've got to give me the outputs. Now, you may say, yeah, but how do you know the program works? Now, my answer to you is this. Because I've been in the game for so long, right? Every program I devise is tailored to the person. Now, if that person is doing that program and not getting the results, guess who's wrong?
If he's doing the production, that means you're wrong.
Okay, I'll never be wrong. Do you know why? Because I've done that program before. I know they're going to get results. And I know if they, it's like, say, if I say to you, jump onto the M6 and go straight to London, that's your postcode, and you end up somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
I give you the right postcode, mate. You've just gone in somewhere else. Now, I give you the destination. Now, if you want to go somewhere else and stop training and do a bit of this, a bit of that, so if you follow my diet, which is the motorway, okay? If you follow my training, which is the postcode, okay? And then I motivate you, okay, which is the petrol in your car, why wouldn't you get there? So if they say to me, oh, it's not working, I'll say, right, there's something not right. But I'll tell you one thing, and this is where the key point is how you coach people. Because you know what, anyone, I can coach my son to coach someone for an hour. Anyone can do that. And this is why a lot of people don't realize this is anyone can stand next to someone and do something, but are you coaching that person to what they need specifically themselves? Yeah. Not telling someone how to do a press up, not telling someone how to do a bench press, not telling someone how to do a shoulder press, not telling someone how to do a Viper turn, is to actually what they need every single day. That's the difference. That's the difference, because a lot of guys get so misconception of
I think that's when the frustration comes, because you train with somebody in your mind, you already have a picture of what they want to do, and then the fact, but if it's not the goal, and then the fact they cannot follow what you're asking them to do, and then people just get nervous. Oh no, you know what? You're too slow. You do this, because we don't listen actually to what people do.
Yeah, makes absolutely. Sense. But as I said, listen. I always say this, and I think I didn't actually finish it. When I know that there's trainers claiming like I'm the best trainer or I'm the best coach. I mean, if anyone claims I'm the best, how do you measure that? I mean, if someone says to me, Carlos is the best, okay, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay. I mean, I think I deliver a lot of results, and I think I'm a pretty decent guy. Okay, I can get a lot better. Of course I can. Everyone's learning, because I'm still learning. Everyone's learning. Now, when someone says I'm the best, how do you know that? Is there a league of personal trainers? Is there a league? Is someone score goals and points? No one knows that. I'm the best I can be for my clients, and they get results. For other trainers, some trainers might be best for those people. They belong to that, to those people. And I think this is why I think, to a degree, the fitness industry has got to be lost in a degree, because everyone's kind of like slagging each other off, and I'm the best, and you're the best, and But
I think it's because social media, because we have the Instagram, everything, you see people pictures, there's a lot of fake things as well.
Oh, there is.
There's too much like picture that we see, and then it's like I was saying a video today online, actually on Instagram. I don't know if you saw my story, where there was a girl actually who was trying to I didn't know like that thing exists. Like they take a picture, but like they change like the facial, they change the whole thing, even the way people sit down as well. And it's all good to pose like that, but the thing is,
Oh,
for
bloody hell,
people,
you got my trick. That's my trick every day when I take a selfie.
that's what I mean. No, there is a trick. There's a level when
Yeah,
it comes to the trick as well. There's a
there is.
level.
Yeah, there
Like
is.
there's some people that just go to the level. It's too extreme, and there's some people that feel like you should always look that way all the time. Like I was with
Yeah,
one of my friends last time.
absolutely.
I was training with him. I tell him like, look, okay, we're gonna take some pictures, and I want to see your abs. And he was just standing. I'm like, look, flex your abs because I want it to come out. I want to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
how it looks when you flex the muscle.
yeah.
And then he didn't know how to do it. And I showed him. He's like, oh wow. So this is how people do. I'm like, well, sometimes people do that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah,
you're just
yeah.
in your sofa, you're sitting down there, everything is just out. It's not always like that.
Absolutely, and that's one of the biggest things. And I tell you one thing I really like. I mean, it really probably annoys me. One of the most sort of like things in industry. I give example, and this happens more, not so much in the UK. And some of the guys that might say, "Oh, it happens in the UK as well." Fat transfer. There's a lot of people that have had fat transfer, but like I say, particular women, the fat transfer from the stomach into their glutes.
Yes.
And anyone that knows about anatomy and physiology, you don't have to be a guru. Your glutes don't start midway through your hip flexor. And these girls got this, not, imagine like, if you want to call it, not that,
Yeah.
they've got that and that. Honestly, it's almost like a nappy, basically.
Yeah.
And I get people, obviously predominantly women, messaging me, Carlos, I've heard you're a really good trainer. This is what I want to look like. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a surgeon. You need a surgeon. Because don't take me wrong, back in the day, I used to be quite patient, but now, it must be an age thing. I'm getting old. I can't.
Yeah, because those people online, they're trying to make them feel like it's
Absolutely.
natural. It's like, you know what?
Absolutely.
I drink tea. This is what I eat every day. That's the reason why I
Absolutely.
have this. But
And this is where I'm coming from. So I'm like thinking, do these people actually think this girl looks like that? And then the thing is, oh, she does this exercise. And I'm like, she might do that exercise, but there's nothing to do with what she's achieved. And this is why I think the consumer, I really believe this. Don't take me wrong, there will be some guys delivering some great products there, absolutely fantastic. But I think the consumer right now is getting really confused. And because he gets really confused, there's massive rooms for failure. Because I don't think actually people know who a good trainer is. Don't take me wrong, there'll be some people that do know that, but I'm talking about the masses. I think the masses are very confused because you don't know. Because there's so many people offering so many things and so many miracles. When people come to me and say, can I get like that? I said, that's impossible because you need a surgeon. You don't need, through training, you can't achieve that kind of roundness. You can't do it. There's only so much your glutes are going to grow. Do you know what I mean? I've done some amazing transformations, I believe, according to the feedback that I get. But I've never been able to build an ass like that. Honestly,
yeah.
You can't do it. You can't do it. Is against anatomy. You can't do it. So they put fat
people, do you think people are ready to accept this kind of, like, to have this kind of conversation, the client,
No,
like to tell the
no,
person? That's the thing as well.
You know what? You just actually stole my thunder because I was just gonna move on to what they then say. Once you tell the reality, I've actually had a woman looking at me thinking, so it's not real what I've been looking for the last 2 months. I said, no, it's not real. And believe it or not, I actually could see how deep and sort of like sad she was. She thought, right, okay, all I've got to do is, start doing some squats and I'm going to build like ass like that. Now, if anyone knows about anatomy and physiology and actually knows about actually how the body obviously becomes that way. Now, for you to have a great amount of mass like that, you need a lot of fat stores. So now it's impossible for you to have that amount of fat store in your glutes and then have 4% body fat in your stomach. It's impossible. Okay. Now you can't achieve that via training. Now, if people think that way, honestly, it flabbergasts me. Honestly, sometimes I think, it's crazy. And this is why I was going to say this to you. This is why sometimes those kind of people, because then they'll say, I'll do some band work, take these shakes, and all of this, because their agenda is to sell something.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that people that are misinformed go into that game
Yeah.
and then realize they don't achieve those goals. And all of a sudden, trainers are bad. Trainers are really
that's
bad.
the thing. It put a lot of pressure on people. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. So I would say, this is what I was saying to you in the beginning, there's different levels. There's different levels of trainers. There's different level of coaches. And I don't like to say what level I'm at. So you might say, yeah, but what do you mean by that? What I mean is results speak. So what I say is, if I want to know how great trainer you are, show me your last 50 transformations. Show me. So if someone says I'm good, just show me your last 50 transformations. Because if you call yourself good, there's the goals. I say footballer. If a footballer is good, he's going to be at least international. He's going to be at least playing for a really good high-level club. Do you know what I'm saying? He's going to be at least playing for really. If a manager's good, he'll be winning a lot of games. If a coach is good, he'll be producing a lot of players. If a painter is good, he'll be loads of people wanting his services. It's all about that, you see. Now, and I think sometimes we forget that. We forget about, and this is what I always say to my guys that work with me. I say, don't talk to me about it. Show me, rather than talk. Because anyone can talk on it. I can say I'm like, I can say anything, but actually showing the results. That's why a lot of people struggle with that. So I think a lot of it, don't take me wrong, and this is one thing I think you've said something very right, is the ego from media. I think the ego takes on, and once the ego's on, it's almost like a button switches on, and people just go on a crazy one, really, to be honest with you.
Wow, that's crazy. But if the people that you actually train, the personal trainer that's around you, do you think they don't feel like they have a lot of pressure going on with them by the way you train them?
What you mean, the way we train them?
Like when you have personal trainer, because you are asking them to bring the result, right? To show you the result more than just like you asking them to show you the result more than just talking about the work that they're doing, like what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
So do you think they don't feel pressure because it's not easy actually to try to bring the result, like especially when somebody's actually watching you and he asks you to, you got a bunch of people you're training, and then there's kind of pressure behind as well.
Well, obviously, if you wanna become good at anything, there's always going to be a level of pressure.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't got pressure, then obviously you're not going to really do anything good, are you? So let's say if I say to you, you go out there and going to train with someone and going to go through the motions, chances are you're probably not going to achieve much, are you? Do you know what I mean? And this is what I think is really important. You always got to start with the question, what is my purpose?
I will invite you again on the live, because I didn't know there was a time limit for that. I never done so much hour. Like I never done the live 1 hour. So you just cut. I'm gonna,
because you joined me. I can talk.
Yeah, I will.
I can talk for England.
No, I can talk either, but I didn't know like the Instagram was like that. So it's my first time to do like a 1 hour live. But I'll send you the invitation anyway, so you're gonna get it back.
No problem.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So as we said, it all depends on the purpose. I think the biggest thing about achieving things is about asking the why. Why am I doing this? So I ask every day when I wake up and I plan. Obviously, I've got my schedule plan. Why am I doing this? What am I training people for?
Okay. Receive it, right?
It's so going back to what I just said. It's just all about the purpose. Ask myself, what is my purpose today in terms of what am I going to do with these people? So I can tell you one thing. I probably, over the years of training so many different people, is what I like the challenges. I'll give you an example. Say 9 o'clock, I've got someone can barely walk straight. 10 o'clock, I've got a bodybuilder. 11 o'clock, I might have someone that needs to lose weight. At 1 o'clock, I might have a footballer. So, I mean, 4, 5 different people, completely from a complete different background, from a completely different goal set. Now, get your head around that. And you'll have that for 12 hours. And as an example, I'll give you a normal day. It's quite challenging. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, this is what I said to you. Now, there's a level of coaching that comes into that. How great are you going to be able to train someone that can barely sit on a chair and walk straight, and then all of a sudden you need to high perform train someone on bodybuilding? It's completely different. Do you know what I mean? And the question could be, how do you motivate yourself doing that? Is through the years of coaching. This is why I said to you, I'll keep reading. I keep reading, I keep self-educating yourself. And that's the biggest thing. If anyone thinks they're going to become a personal trainer by doing a personal training course, I think that's the biggest ridiculous thing you can ever do. Because you know what? You don't let, I mean, I've coached people in these courses. You learn about anatomy, physiology, very basic, by the way.
Yeah.
You learn your level 2 in gym instruction, very basically, by the way. Then you move on to do nutrition, very basic.
Yeah, but the nutrition is very basic.
It's very basic. And then all of a sudden, you're a trainer. No, you're not a trainer. You just get a license. That's what it is. Now, I always say this, and I've had this something asked for me. So does that mean I'm a trainer? No, you are a trainer. It's like you've got a driving license. That don't mean you're going to drive a Bentley Continental GT or Ferrari or Lamborghini every day. That's down to you. That's down to you. What can you afford? And what I mean by that, in relation of clients, is can you afford to be busy? Can you afford to have people that want your services? Because if you are that good, if you are good and you're inspiring, you're going to have a lot of people wanting to train with you. And this is, don't take me wrong, and this is something that over the years you learn. This is not something you're going to learn in a training course. This is not something you're going to learn in a book. This is something you're going to learn throughout the years, throughout experimenting, throughout understanding. But my biggest advice for trainers is learn psychology. Learn psychology, how human beings think. Not because I hear all the time. I get PTs, because PTs, don't forget, most PTs, obviously we all know this, there's a lot of ego. I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that, blah, 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 blah. But remember, when you're training people, you're not training you. You're training people. It's not what you want, it's what they need. Two different things. It's nothing about me when I train people. I'm just about them. It's just what they really need. Do you know what I mean? Like a baby. A baby's not there thinking, okay, daddy, what do you want? It's about what that person needs, you know? Such a hard thing to see. And this is why it goes back to what you were saying. When people see you, the trainers, when you were with your mum, say, for instance, all you wanted is your mum to sit down and come back up. That's it. Nothing else. Not what you wanted to do. Perhaps if I said to you, what did you want to do in that day? For you, you probably wanted to do some bench press. Maybe you want to do some deadlifts. Your mum doesn't want to be doing that, does she?
No.
That's the contrast, isn't it?
Sure. Before we wrap it up, I know it's definitely going to have part 2, because I think there's a lot of things to talk about.
Absolutely.
Coming back to what you was talking about, the score, like, you know, somebody body, when you're actually growing up, when you're lifting heavy, and sometimes you feel like you're actually putting more damage on your body, right? If you're lifting too heavy, because the more you grow up as well. So how can people actually, because people lift heavy because they feel like when you lift heavy, you get bigger, you get stronger. But how can you get strong and big without going heavy? Do you think there is a way to do that? Or there is a heavy and heavy. There is like a level of going heavy. There is not, like, because I see some people, they kind of skinny, but when you see them doing the deadlift, you even scared when you see the person doing that. And then you ask yourself, like, why is he going so heavy?
Yeah, you just asked me a lot of questions there, but I'll try to sort of like dissect. Good questions, by the way. I would say the first part is how do you get big without lifting heavy? There isn't, because in order for you to get bigger, you need to lift big weights. But how big is big? That's the difference. Is obviously you need to always lift. If you want to go really scientific, the science shows that if you lift 80% of your maximum rep max, you kind of grow better and less injury and less more hypertrophy and less muscle catabolism, which means obviously less muscle breakage. Because if there's a lot of muscle breakage, is when hypertrophy happens. If there's too much of it, you break down too much, which whatever you're eating is only recovering. So it's not making you grow; it's making you repair. That's in itself a whole different video, by the way. So you need to obviously gauge. The other thing is obviously is down to your diet and actually understanding. When I mean diet, I don't just mean clean diet. I don't just mean healthy diet. I don't just mean loads of protein. I don't just mean loads of carbs. It's actually understanding. And this is, honestly, diet is as I said to you in the beginning, is like, people misconcept everything. Do you know what I mean? People just say diet. For some people think diet is like, oh, I want to eat lettuce and 2 chicken breasts. Diet, it depends on you. It depends on your goal. It depends what you want to achieve. So you really have to tailor that diet to that person. lifestyle, daily calorie expenditure, body type. Because if you had an ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph, it could be completely different caloric sort of intake. So you need to understand that. And I know it sounds really simple. This is very simple things, by the way. But believe it or not, still to this day, people don't understand it. Okay. And the other thing is obviously train heavy correctly, because believe it or not, the concept of training heavy and what you must understand heavy, it might be heavy on the bar, but what that person then transfers into their muscle skeleton is a whole different thing. Do you know what I mean? Because I can give you an example, say, how do I put that together? Is like, you can have 3 plates on a deadlift and someone does amazing lifts, right? And there's a lot of goodness, and you can pull another 10 kilograms and completely wrong and get damaged. So a lot of the times, less is more, I would say. And ultimately, it's actually understand your body, understand what makes your body develop. Because some people, I'll give you an example, like I trained Richard, Ricardo Bobo for many years. I know exactly what his body needs. I can transform his body. Obviously, you might say, bloody, I'll transform. He's already transformed. But I trained him for so many years. I know exactly what his body responds to. I know. If I was to train you as an example, it'd be completely different, because you guys got 2 different body types. However, I bet you if you get someone to train you too, you do the same thing. It's different. It's a different body type, different diet, different training. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's what I would say is actually understand your body type, understand your caloric body type, understand how often you need to train, because it's all of that. Understand about volumes as well and tempos as well, because it's so important. It's not just about, oh, what do I need to do? Bench press. I can show you. I can go onto the bench press and do 10, 15, 20 different ways of bench pressing. You might say, what do you mean by that? I can tell you loads of different ways to stimulate different parts of the chest by doing bench press. And you might think, okay, but I thought bench press is bench press. No, this is why I say that there is a lot of understanding, but there is a lot of lack of understanding as well. And this is what I would say. Once you start understanding the levels, you start understanding where to actually be in relation to your development. Do you know what I mean? But that can be completely, as I said, it could be completely for another video. It'd be completely to wrap it up onto another level.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have part 2, because I feel like there is a lot of things we've been talking about. Sure. There's anything that you wanna add? Because I know, like, you actually, for people actually doesn't know, you are, I don't know if he's manager or one of the director Jet Fitness.
I'm one of the directors at Jet Fitness. I am.
So what do you do there exactly?
Well, I own the company there. I own Jets.
Oh, that's good actually.
Me and the 2 guys.
That's good. So for anybody who actually interested, if you want to get in touch with Carlos, you can check in Instagram. I'm gonna put all the details. Or you guys can actually go to Birmingham in Erdington as well. So you're gonna check the gym. It's just near to Tesco. And anything else you want to add before we wrap it up? But we're definitely gonna have part 2, because I feel like
I really appreciate the invite. Obviously, there's a lot of things we can talk about, I'm sure. I think sometimes it's good to actually have these talks and have
that's why I didn't want to have it too formal, because I think when it comes to fitness, if you keep it too formal, everybody talk about the same thing. I've noticed that people want to talk about the same thing. They want to talk about how good they are, but people don't want to go too deep into the conversation about things that really matter. Like such a thing as ego lifting, like supplements and the body type and all the sciences behind, like, as I said to you, like saying to somebody today, like, you know what, no, I cannot achieve this one because this is not real. This one, you have to do surgery. This is very important to tell people that, because especially the new generation, you have new people today, they're in the gym, they see all those people on Instagram, they want to look like them, but they don't know, like, this is not real. But is it okay to accept, like, my body cannot achieve this as a human being?
Absolutely, you're right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It's the facts, isn't it? A lot of people don't like facts; they like the illusions. So, but then again, there's a time and place for that as well. And I think one of the biggest things is, like, anyone that knows me, I always tell you the truth. I'll tell you how it is. I don't like to say, oh, fantasy or anything like that. I'm a very factual person. If I can't do it, I'll just say I can't do it, But I think once you get the facts and the results speak for themselves, you know what I mean? I think once if you're honest with people, you tell them how it is, you tell them how long it's going to take, more or less, of course, and you got to ask them for their inputs and they deliver, results are a byproduct of it. You know, I always say to the guys, you do the right intensity, the right training, you get the right results. Simple as that. But don't forget, you got to be consistent. Consistent is a word, very simple word, but I think people don't get it. I think consistency is one of the big things in training. But I really appreciate the invite anyway.
Yeah, thanks for that. And what is your
questions.
goal? Yeah, what is your goal like?
My
Because I
goal,
know, like, yeah, your goal right now. What do you see yourself like in the next few years? What do you want to achieve? I know you want to inspire people. That's what you want to say.
yeah,
It's easy to do that, but it's to say that, of course. But what is your
very
goal?
hard to do.
Up to fitness, to whatever, to the industry where you are. What do you
What's
want to achieve? Because I know, like, right now you are one of the director, one of the owner of Jet Fitness. But you know, in the bigger picture, what do you want to achieve?
Obviously, I've got a lot of things. Obviously, I'm involved heavily in football as well. That's one of my passions as well. For the guys that probably know, they'll know. Obviously, it runs very much parallel with what I do in the fitness industry as well. I love football. I love inspiring the boys. I love it. So I think that's something that definitely going to go sort of parallel with fitness. In the future, I just want to become a better coach. I just want to become a better coach, a better trainer, inspire people, carry on inspiring people. Because I think a lot of times, one thing I've learned is, you know, we always say to ourselves, what's your next goal? What's your next goal? How about keeping the goal? Because
or what do you want to improve, maybe?
Become a better coach. Because I mean, as good as I probably think I am, or people say I am, I can improve. I can get better. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's one of the biggest things. One of the things I like to help as well, which is I believe it's happening at the moment, is mental health. That's the reason why I went back to university and studied psychology. I think mental health is one of the biggest things, in particular now what's happening with COVID-19. There's a lot of people with depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and dealing with a lot of other things as well, with life pressures and losing jobs and lack of a lot of uncertainty. And that's one of the things I'm really focusing every day. Not so much about, obviously, as well as wrong word to use, as well as developing me as a coach, but also become a better coach from a psychological point of view. Not rather, because a lot of people come to you. It's all good saying, okay, this is what we're going to do today, and this is what I've got. But the person might not even feel like they can do anything, let alone even listen to you about talking about training. So actually understanding how to deal with those people and giving the right information and right key coaching points when they so need. I think that's where the, if you like, the nucleus of talent coaches and trainers come from. Because everything else that a lot of people think, like, as we said, deadlift, squats, that is so basic. That is so basic that a lot of times you think that's not what you think training is, and that's not what coaching is. Don't take me wrong, there's time and place for that as well. But a lot of people
I think what people need to understand as well, you can't train somebody, the person it doesn't look muscling, but it doesn't mean you're a bad trainer.
Totally. 100.
Yeah, but the thing that's where people actually see that, because if somebody you train somebody, the person just look healthy, his heart rate is good, the person is strong, is happy about the result. But certain people, when they're gonna see that and be like, no, you're not a good trainer, because for them having a good trainer is to have somebody walk around with abs and the chest out, like, you know, big bicep, shoulders. That's how people actually put it in their mind. But everybody don't have the same goal as you just said.
I give you example, right? You must, I'll leave you with this one, right? Any trainers that are online, right? Or you ask any trainer how many top athletes, okay, have they trained in their whole fitness career. So I'll give you example. A good trainer, if he's a good trainer, he's been in the game for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
I would like to see how many top athletes have they trained, not took pictures with, because a lot of guys take pictures with, personal trained, and develop this guy in their career. I'll be flabbergasted if it's more than 2 or 3, because what a lot of guys do, you see, that's the analogy. You would think that. But most trainers, we don't train top athletes. We don't do that, because top athletes, if you're a top athlete, you will train in your own facility, especially like football clubs now. They don't allow a lot of players to train with trainers and whatever. So a lot of guys out there that if they are training people, most people that come into them is average people. Is people that want to lose a bit of weight, be confident, feel good in their dress, feel good in their jeans. That's what it is. So why would these people be walking around with abs and six packs? And
it's not for everybody. Yeah,
not for everybody. I'll give you an example. If you say to me 5 years ago, I looked like that 5 years ago. I no longer, you might say, oh, but you're getting older. I no longer want to look like that. I've got no intentions about looking like I did 5 years ago. I don't have it. You might think that's a bit bizarre. I don't. Do you know what my goal is in fitness?
Where's the goal?
Okay, I do 30K on my bike every day. I try to. If I can't do outside, I do inside. I've got a spinning bike. That's my goal. Okay. I do functional training every morning. Okay, which is obviously a variation of burpees, squat thrusts, star jumps, all that sort of stuff, right? And I do a bit of weight training. Okay.
I mean, it's like me today. I think one of my goals today with time is not really like, lifting heavy. I think for me, it's more like body weight. I want to be able to master the body weight, to have more strength when it comes to like compound, like, not compound, I'm like in a catalytic, like street workout, this kind of workout. I want to be able to actually feel strong without lifting weight. And that's because I really respect people that do body weight, because I feel like there's a lot of strength going on, and there's a lot of, you need to know a lot of things as well, because if they put something in the park, it's easy to just sit down there and do like press ups and dips, pull ups. And you're gonna think that's the most basic, but there's always 100%. A lot of things they actually can do.
But you know what I was gonna say to you?
You're dark right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be that. So let me just say something to you, right? And I want to finish with that. The main thing is, whatever you think is good for you and you feel good with it, that's what is good for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
To wrap it up with what I said to the guys, so the guys that do deadlifts and they do powerlifting, if that's what you feel is good for you, stick with it. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the guys that want to run 20K every single day and they feel amazing, it might get you some injuries down the line, but if that's what you feel like, do it.
Yeah.
If a guy wants to do bodybuilding and it makes him feel alive, do it. If the guy wants to do functional training, that's what makes them feel alive and powerful, do it. But I think what we need to stop is criticizing the other people.
Yeah.
Because we're all right. At the end of the day, all we're trying to do is to become fitter, to become stronger, to become healthier, and ultimately to become overall better people. But I think a lot of times, because we are doing different things to others, we think that we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
We're all doing right things, but sometimes we're all doing wrong things as well, by the way. But we're all trying to do best for us. But it's actually understanding what is that person's goal, rather than your goal doesn't have to be everyone's goal. Imagine if we're all the same. Imagine if we all done body weight exercises.
Yeah, I think if we all do the same, we all look normal. But I think being fit is gonna be so normal that it's not gonna be anything special. I think we all gonna be like, you know what, I don't wanna train, so I'm gonna look different than you guys.
Absolutely. But you know what? It's been absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's always great to share best practice.
Yes.
And I look forward to obviously do the part 2 as well.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to do part 2, and we might do some question answer as well live on Instagram. So people, because I see a lot of people, they always actually typing, but I didn't want to get too much into that because it distracts me a lot. I will cut the live and we're going to carry on here. And you guys, thank you for watching. If you guys on Instagram, if you want to get in touch with Carlos, you can go to the Instagram, and I'm going to post the podcast in a few days or few weeks. You're going to have all the details as well. But from now, you guys can actually go to his page as well.